what's happening to him, they got him up, they sprinkled some water, they got him up. He was just chanting the names of Lord Jagannath. And then he looked at his plate, and then he said, Jagannath, Jagannath, he was chanting the names of Jagannath. Then he fainted again. So one of the elders in the village, they told the wife, your husband's not going to eat today if you serve him this prasad. What you have to do is take the spinach out, put it on a separate vessel, and then offer that to him. So then she did that. And they woke him up again, and he sat down, and then he honored the Mahaprasadam, but in total ecstasy. And then what happened was, he never came down from that mood. So what happens is, when concentration is so deep, like I said in last time's class, when the concentration is so deep, it affects your life airs. Concentration first affects the mind. Then the concentration is so deep on the mind that it then affects your life airs. You have life airs in your body. So when it affects the life airs in the body, then what happens is that it affects the body. So what's the body made up of? Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So when it affects the water element, for example, tears will shoot out in ecstasy. Yeah, you get that. So now, can I move the slide? Are we leaving the sidebar? Okay. Huh? Oh, I see. Okay. So what happens now is that Krishna's different qualities, we said, is another impetus to draw the heart into greater love for Krishna. Now, you remember there was this Rukmini. She never met Krishna. She's the queen of Dwarika, and she never met Krishna. She heard about Krishna's qualities. And when she heard about the beautiful qualities of Krishna, she wanted to marry only Krishna. So this hearing is like that. So Krishna's qualities are 64 in total. However, the first 50 qualities of Krishna, there's the number 64, and now we're dealing out of that 64, we're dealing with 50 qualities. So the first 50 qualities are actually qualities that are manifest in Krishna. However, a regular jiva, a regular soul, can also manifest those qualities, only if they are on the higher stages of pure devotion. So on the stages of pure devotion, godly qualities manifest in the person, in other words, up to the degree of manifesting 50 qualities of Krishna, obviously depending on how surrendered and how pure the personality is. So the person that is next to Krishna has the qualities nearest to Krishna is Narayan. Narayan can manifest 60 of those 64 qualities, nothing more. Narayan can never manifest the additional 4 qualities that make Krishna Krishna. You know the story of one time when the gopis were searching for Krishna in Vrindavan. They're searching for Krishna, but Krishna was hiding behind the bushes, and he was watching the love of the gopis. Because when the gopis are immersed in this love, they start talking to the trees. They see the kadamba tree and the tamal tree. The kadamba tree represents Srimati Radharani because it's lighter in color. The tamal tree is darkish in color. So the tamal tree, when is like a udipan for the gopis, when they see the tamal tree, their hearts are like they saw Krishna. So they start talking to the tree. So then Krishna, he disguised himself as Narayan. And he was hiding there. And the gopis came, they saw Narayan. Oh, pranams Narayan. Did you see Krishna? We're looking for Krishna. And Narayan said, oh, he went that way. Now, don't ask me which of his four hands he pointed, which direction. If you say that way and you have four hands, you could be pointing in four directions, I bet, right? I can't conceive of it, but you get the point. So Narayan, but when Radharani came, and Radharani saw Narayan, and she said, "Pranams Narayan," and she offered up Om Namo Narayana obeisances. And then she said, "Have you seen Krishna? We're looking for him, Sham, all over the place." When Krishna just heard Srimati Radharani's voice, imbued with the love. Now, you can say Sham in like a dead voice, or you can say Sham with more emotion, right? And then when you say Sham with more emotion, then what happens is that Krishna becomes melted, right? His heart has a tug of love. So when you chant his name with love, can you imagine? You're pulling him closer and closer. So now what happens is when Radharani, when she speaks like that to Krishna, he cannot maintain his composure as Narayan any longer. He automatically goes back to his sham condition. Like that. So he can't, so Narayan, these four qualities, we're going to discuss these special four qualities just now, and you'll hear about it. So Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, they are very exalted beings. So they can develop up unto 55 of those qualities. They're higher than the regular jivas. They manifest 55 qualities, and the jivas go only up unto 50 qualities. Can you become God? Never, right? God is always God, and we are always jiva. The position is already taken. We'll never get to 64 qualities. If Shiva and Brahma can't do it, what chance do we have? So, only Krishna can possess any one of these qualities to an infinite extent, wonderfully manifest and in fullness as deep as an ocean. So even though the jivas can manifest the 50 qualities, they can't manifest it in its complete form, only minutely. Like just say attractiveness. You can be attractive to many jivas by your word and deed, etc. However, only Krishna is all attractive. That means Krishna will have these 50 qualities in their completeness. So Krishna has other qualities as well. So here, the first 50 qualities that we spoke about are being mentioned here. Srila Rupa Goswami, after consulting various scriptures, has enumerated the transcendental qualities of the Lord as follows. Beautiful features of the entire body. So it's explained Krishna's body is so amazing. His shoulders are broad. His waist is very narrow. He has a threefold bending form. And then he has a very deep navel that makes his belly. He's a milk drinker. He doesn't have a six-pack belly, right? When they were painting Krishna, they painted Krishna with, like masculine cheeks, etc. And they showed the picture to Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, no, his cheeks are not like that. He's a milk drinker, right? So it's quite bona fide. Marked with auspicious characteristics, extremely pleasing. Krishna is so pleasing that when he speaks, like I was saying in the class on Sunday, when he speaks, he enters into the royal assembly of Nanda Maharaj. And in Nanda Maharaj's royal assembly, they're discussing very serious matter. And here enters the charming Prince of Vraj, and he can only yet babble. Or he can speak like in broken language. But when he goes and he expresses himself, it is so captivating that for a long time, the Royal Assembly forgets all other business and they can only focus 100% of their attention on this blue over talkative boy of Raj. That's how captivating Krishna can be. He's extremely pleasing. Like one of the gopis was expressing, when he went and he convinced Nanda Maharaj about the Govardhan Indra Puja not being necessary, that they should do the worship for Govardhan Hill. When that happened, she said, he spoke in such a sweet tone. It was so pleasing to the ear. Each word that he articulated was so pleasing that there was no way anyone could turn down this kid. They were totally, how you say, putty in his hands. He can manipulate just because of his pleasing speech. He's very effulgent, he's very strong. It's explained that Krishna is so strong that when he picked up Govardhan mountain, he picked it up as easily, Prabhupada says, as easily as a child would pick up a mushroom. Now, if you grew up in Durban and you went gathering big mushrooms, is it heavy? It's not heavy at all. It's very light when you pick up a mushroom. So when Krishna picked up Govardhan Hill on the small finger of his left hand, it was with no effort. Prabhupada writes in the Krishna book, without even practicing weightlifting, right? He was able to pick it up. But Krishna's quality, the Govardhan mountain was picked up in all the yugas by other people. So what's so special about Krishna picking up the mountain? We'll find out just now. Krishna is ever youthful, is a wonderful linguist. He is truthful, talks pleasingly, is fluent, is highly learned, highly intelligent, a genius, artistic, extremely clever, expert, grateful, firmly determined, and an expert judge of time and circumstances. Sees and speaks on the authority of the Vedas or scriptures, is pure, is self-controlled, is steadfast, forbearing, forgiving, brave, self-satisfied, possessing equilibrium, magnanimous, religious, heroic, compassionate, respectful, gentle, liberal, shy, and the protector of surrendered souls, is happy, well-wisher of the devotees, controlled by love, all auspicious, most powerful, all famous, popular, particular partial to devotees, very attractive to all women, all worshipable, all opulent, all honorable, supreme controller, supreme personality of Godhead, has all 50 transcendental qualities in their fullness, as deep as an ocean. In other words, the excellent extent of his qualities is inconceivable. So, besides all of these qualities, we said, who has 50 qualities? Who can get up to 50? The jivas, right? So Lord Shiva and Brahma, they have these 50 qualities, but they have an additional, that's 50, they have 55. So they have an additional 5. Besides all the above 50 qualities, Lord Krishna possesses 5 more, which are sometimes partially manifested in the persons of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Note the word, they partially manifested. They're not fully manifested even in Brahma and Shiva. These transcendental qualities are as follows. So what are those qualities? Changeless, all cognizant, ever fresh, Satchitananda, possessing all mystic perfections. Krishna also possesses 5 other qualities which are manifest in the body of Narayan. And they're listed as follows. He has inconceivable potency, uncountable universes generate from his body. He is the original source of all incarnations. He is the giver of salvation to the enemies who he kills. He is the attractor of the liberated souls. All these transcendental qualities are manifest wonderfully in the person of Lord Krishna. Are you ready for the last 4 qualities? These 4 qualities are exclusive to Krishna. Even though these other qualities are manifest In Shiva and Brahma, it's not to their full extent, it's partial. So now, if anyone comes and tells you, that someone else is God, do you have a point of contention with them? You will have a point of contention. If somebody says they are God, will you have a point of contention? Here's your ammunition, right? They can only manifest 50 qualities, and that too not in their fullest capacity. Now, Krishna's 4 unique qualities. Krishna, moreover, exclusively possesses 4 unique qualities not found in anyone else. Leela Madhurya, uniquely sweet pastimes with his devotees. So he has unique pastimes with these devotees who are actually his close associates. Prema Madhurya, so he has uniquely sweet devotees. And Venu Madhurya, uniquely sweet, all attractive flute. Rupa Madhurya, uniquely sweet beauty. Right? So these are the 4 things that Krishna has that no one else has. Okay? Lord Shiva doesn't have this. Lord Brahma doesn't have this. They don't have pastimes with the gopis. Now, these qualities will now be expressed in the forthcoming chapters. The qualities of Krishna's devotees, how they have a higher category of love, etc. Not opening? How come? Okay. So Leela Madhuri, Krishna's sweet, uniquely sweet pastimes. What makes the person sweet in his submission to those who love him? No other form of Godhead has pastimes as sweet as Krishna's, because no other pastime, in no other pastimes is the Lord so completely submissive to the love of his devotees. Thus, among all the Lord's pastimes, Vrindavan Leela is the sweetest, and among all the Vrindavan pastimes, Rasa Leela is the sweetest, because in the Rasa Leela, Krishna submits to his devotees' love in the fullest extent. There are 64 million gopis that come to perform Rasa Leela, right, with Krishna. And he's able to reciprocate with each and every single one of them. He is able to expand himself, but at the same time, the Rasa Leela was actually the desire of Srimati Radharani. Out of the 64 million devotees, Radharani's desire was so strong to have this, and that was the reason Krishna was arranging this Leela, agreed for this Leela. And Srimati Radharani's love for Krishna is so unique that even though Krishna is surrounded by 64 million gopis, each one possessing unique love for Krishna, it is so incredible that Krishna sees that he wants to reciprocate with this specific gopi. Hence, he leaves the Rasa Leela with Radharani alone. So, in Krishna's submission to his devotees, everything Krishna does is for the well-being of his devotees because they want it. Now, during daytime, what happens during daytime? The sun rises. Who worships the sun in Vrindavan? The gopis. They take their trays. They're always going to the Surya temple, right, to worship Surya Dev. They worship Surya Dev, and the adults allow them to go worship Surya Dev. Why? Unmarried girls, they worship Surya Dev for a good husband. Why? Because, thank you. So what happens is that when they worship Surya Dev, then it is amazing. The adults think it's so nice. Now our daughters, they are actually going to get a good husband. Surya Dev, he's seen everything and everyone. because the sun pervades everyone's house. No one can hide a handsome boy away, right? The sun has seen it all. So then the Gopas, they think they want to worship Krishna, because now the Gopas, they have their rasa with Krishna during the daytime. So what do? They go to the Chandradev. They do Chandra Puja. So they are doing Chandra Puja to, and their family members are thinking, oh, Chandradev is in charge of Luna, the mind. You know, lunatic, it comes from that word, right? No jokes, true. So the parents, when they think that, oh, the Gopas are worshipping Chandradev, these boys are going to be mighty, intelligent, good boys of good character. So they let them go worship. However, the secret is this. The gopis, when they worship Suryadev, they saying, Suryadev, are you going to set a few minutes earlier today so that we could have a longer pastime with Krishna, because the night will be longer? And the Gopas, their mentality is they worship Chandradev. Chandradev, please come late today. Rise early. Sorry, Chandradev, shorten the night, right? Shorten the night, because we want early morning. We wait for early morning to run to Nanda Maharaj's house and associate with Krishna. The Gopas, they wake up in the night. It can be like 1 hour after the mothers put them to rest. Mata, is it time to go now? Is my tiffin ready? And they want to run to Nanda Maharaj's house. The mother says, sleep. It's still not yet midnight. Sleep. I'll wake you up when it's time. So now, can you see Krishna? He's in a dilemma. Who is going to please? Is he going to please the Gopas? Is he going to please the Gopis? And I like that all of the residents, they all have this specific yearning to be with Krishna. So in the Govardhan Leela, Krishna is so submissive. See, in the Vrindavan Leela is very sweet, and Krishna is very submissive to the love of his devotees. So when he picks up Giriraj, like I said, in the Satya Yuga, who picked up Giriraj? Pulastya Muni. You know the story? You'll heard the story of Pulastya Muni. Pulastya Muni, you see, when Krishna was coming to the material world, he went to Srimati Radharani. And he said to Srimati Radharani, prepare to come down. We're going to go to Boma Vrindavan and perform our Leela. Radharani said, it would be very nice if Govardhan comes, if Vrindavan Dham comes, and if Yamuna Devi comes. Krishna said, all taken care of. They're already gone. So Govardhan, in Satya Yuga, he was there. So Pulastya, now, but Govardhan, he takes his birth as what? He's a mountain. So he's the son of Dronachal from the Himalayan mountain range. So he takes his birth as a small mountain, and he's just there. So when Pulastya Muni goes, Pulastya Muni has the mindset, he needs a mountain that can shelter him during his tapasya, that can provide everything. He doesn't have to, drive to the Woolworths or whatever to get his supplies. It's all provided for. So he goes to the Himalayan range, and King Dronachal was there. So he asks King Dronachal, can you show me your mountains? Dronachal goes and show him. Oh, no problem. Come, whatever, is your wish, I will satisfy it. So he goes and he's trying to satisfy this Pulastya Muni. And Pulastya Muni, he sees, oh, the king shows him, see, this mountain has got caves. These caves, they can actually house a whole village. Then he shows him a duplex version, so to speak. He shows him, see, this mountain range here, if you're not happy with that one, this one here can shelter 2 villages of people. In the caves are so nice. So he shows him Pulastya Muni, nothing doing. He's not getting impressed. So then Pulastya Muni sees a small mountain. He says, what about that? I want that mountain. Dronachal says, no, that's my kid. Now, can you imagine going and asking Vivek, can you give me a son? You know, you think, how are you going to feel? How are you going to feel? Very upset. Yeah, you'll be very reluctant, naturally, because of the loving bond. So Dronachal, he was thinking, shoo, you can't ask me for anything. Don't ask for my kid. Pulastamuni said, you said anything I want, you're going to satisfy. So in any case, Dronachal couldn't go back on his word. It's inauspicious if you go back on your word. So he said, okay, the word will be virtuous. So Pulastamuni, he then was picking up, he was going to pick up Govardhan. And Govardhan said, you spoke to my father, but I have one condition. He said, well, this guy is a kid. What condition can he make? He said, no problem. Say what? Tell me what you want. So Govardhan said, if you lay me down anyway, I won't wake up from there. So Pulastya Muni, he said, I'm a Muni. I'm Pulastya Muni. I've conquered eating, sleeping, drinking, and drinking. So he knew he wasn't going to answer the call of nature or anything like that. He was in control of himself for many, many years. However, when he entered Vrindavan, who was in charge there? Not Yoga Maya is in charge. So he had conquered over Mahamaya. But in Vrindavan, Yoga Maya is in charge. And Yoga Maya, she's arranging pastimes for Krishna. So when he came to Vrindavan, he had the urge to release his bladder, relieve his bladder. So he had to put down Dronachal's son, Govardhan. And Govardhan didn't move from there. Then Pulastya cursed him that he will shrink by the size of a mustard seed every day. That time Govardhan was so high that the Surya Dev, when he would come with his chariot, his horses would stop to graze because the grass on Govardhan was so fragrant, right, that the horses even were attracted to it. So that was the incredible thing about Krishna being submissive to his devotees, that when he picked up Govardhan Hill, okay, Pulastya Muni picked up Govardhan Hill. In the next Yuga, Treta Yuga, Hanuman picked up Govardhan Hill. Hanuman was trying to build a bridge for Lord Ramachandra. So Lord Ram said, go bring all the mountains, rocks, etc. to build a bridge. So everyone was doing their thing. Hanuman saw this mountain. The mountain refused to go with Hanuman. See, Govardhan is on the side, is in whose camp? Is in left wing gopis, Radharani's camp. Remember, Radharani didn't want to come down until Govardhan is there. So Govardhan is a friend of Radharani. So he has that mood of sugar and spice also. So when he was asked by Hanuman, Hanuman came to fetch him. He said, why should I go with you? Who are you? Where are you going to take me? So Hanuman said, hey, bye. I'm taking you for the lotus feet of Ramachandra. Have you not heard? You know, Lord Ram needs your service. It's indeed a privilege for you to offer your beautiful soft grass under the soft lotus feet of my Lord Ramachandra. Govardhan said, sure, take me. Hanuman picked him up so nicely. So he got picked up second time. So when he got picked up, the conch shell blew. Lord Ram's signal, bridge is built. Don't need any more rocks. Leave it all down. So close, but so far from serving Lord Ram. Govardhan was in such separation. He was thinking, when again will I get this chance to serve Lord Ramachandra? He was in such deep, pure lamentation that Hanuman pacified him. Hanuman said, you know what? In the next Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Krishna will come. And Krishna, his lotus feet will trample all over you, every inch of you, like that. And you will gain great pleasure. You'll serve Krishna on top, from underneath, all sides. You'll be the greatest servant. And sure, Radharani chants a verse where she says that he's the greatest servant. Haridasa Varya, right? Uh, so so even though Hanuman picked up Govardhan, Pulastya picked up Govardhan, when Krishna picked up Govardhan Hill, you may think, what's the big deal? It was picked up before. But the thing that distinguishes Krishna's picking up of Govardhan Hill is that he reciprocates with all of the devotees in all different leelas in one go during 7 days and 7 nights. The Gopas, the Gopis, and each one feels totally pacified in their rasa with Krishna from just being there, with him for the 7 days. So the Gopas, they weren't praying to the sun, to the moon god at that time. Gopis not praying to Surya Dev. They're all fully satisfied because Krishna is all pleasing to his devotees. So one devotee said, I know about Narayan, the husband of the goddess of fortune. And I also know about many other incarnations of the Lord. Certainly, all the pastimes of such incarnations are exciting to my mind, but still, the pastimes of the Rasa Leela performed by Lord Krishna himself are wonderfully increasing my transcendental pleasure. So, these things will come later in the Nectar of Devotion. We'll discuss it a little more in detail when that happens. So the other quality of Krishna is his prema madhurya, his uniquely sweet devotees. So it is said, just as a jewel becomes more beautiful when is set in a golden ring, a person becomes more enchanting when surrounded by those who adore him. The Vrajavasi's love for Krishna is unparalleled. Surrounded by them, Krishna shines most brilliantly in the zenith of enchanting sweetness. Like, when you go, have you seen pictures of the deity in Mayapur? Uh, Radha Madhava? You saw Madhava, how attractive he is. If you look at that deity carefully, he looks absolutely charming and handsome. Why? Because he's surrounded by 8 gopis the whole day and night. Right? Like here, this example is given, a jewel becomes more beautiful when set in a gold ring. Right? It looks like a precious stone if you hold it in your hand, but if you have it set in a ring, its beauty increases. So Krishna is very good himself, but when he's surrounded by his devotees, and specifically when he has Srimati Radharani to his left hand side, he is the happiest. Among all devotees, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Vrajvasi's love is the deepest. All of the Vrajavasis, the Gopis' love is the best. Thus, Sri Krishna is most attractive form of the Lord when Srimati Radharani is at his left. And you find in all of the pictures Prabhupada gave us, he commissioned the artists to paint like this. So it's quite an incredible thing how one time Prabhupada was giving a lecture, I think it was in either San Diego or LA or someplace in America. They have a deity whose head is, Krishna stands playing his flute. So his flute is on his right hand side. And then his head is tilted like this to his left. And when Prabhupada saw that, Prabhupada said, just see how inclined Krishna is towards his devotee. He's inclining his head more towards his devotee. So then Prema Madhurya is uniquely sweet devotees. Srila Rupa Goswami helps us appreciate the gopis' intense love by quoting 2 shlokas from the Bhagavatam. One of them reads, the gopis lament, my dear king, during the daytime, my dear Krishna, sorry, too much king talk. My dear Krishna, during the daytime, when you go out into the forest of Vrindavan with your cows, we consider one moment to be like 12 years or more. And again, when you come back at the end of the day, by seeing your beautiful face, we are so much attracted that we are unable to stop looking upon you constantly. At these times, when there is occasional blinking of our eyelids, we condemn the Creator Brahma as a dunce because he does not know how to make perfect eyes. How long does it take you to blink your eyes? Do you even notice it? They notice it because the blinking of the eye is an obstruction to beholding Krishna's beauty. When I first came to the temple, my friend, my roommate, she was taught that you pray in front of God with closed eyes and palms together, like most of us were. So she, with great awe and reverence, would stand like that in front of the deities. And then one of the devotees, senior devotees, told her, and I heard this and it made so much of sense, said, why you close your eyes when you stand in front of Krishna? The gopis, their eyes are open, but just the blinking, which is so insignificant. How long does your eye blink for? Do you even notice it, right? They condemning Brahma to be a dunce because he can't create perfect eyelids that stay open. Incidentally, whose eyes stay open all the time? We spoke about him today in class. Tell them whose eyes stays open all the time. He drives on a big chariot. Jagannath. Lord Jagannath doesn't have eyelids or eyelash. His eyes are open all the time. Jagannath never takes rest. You know that? Jagannath never takes rest. He reciprocates with the devotees all the time. He never rests. The 2 hours at night in which the temple in Puri is closed, during that time, don't think Jagannath's sleeping. All of the higher beings, the devatas, they come and they perform their artis, etc. at that time. It's explained the devatas, because they have so much understanding of Lord Jagannath's potency and his love, etc. So what they do is that all of the remnants of prasad, when the devotees take prasadam, are given prasad in the Jagannath Mandir, so the crumbs and everything fall, right? You know how it is. The devas come and they pick all of that up because it's has the foot dust of the servants, the devotees of Lord Jagannath. At night time, there's this nice story of one devotee who was from the heavenly planets, and she came late. So the arti starts, just say at 12 o'clock or whatever time. So she's sauntering through the gate, and no rude jokes about women taking long to dress and everything now. But she was coming late, and the arti already started. And you know who became angry? Baladev. If you're late for Jagannath's puja, Baladev, you have to deal with Lord Baladev, and you don't want to take that risk. He cursed this girl, he cursed this devata, that she will have to take so many births as a dasi in the house of one of the pujaris. And she had to go through that entire thing until at a certain time she was shown mercy to reassume her position. But so Krishna's reciprocation with these uniquely sweet devotees is like that he is unrelentless. He can do anything to please his devotees. Srila Rupa Goswami helps us appreciate the gopis' intense love by quoting 2 shlokas from the Bhagavatam. One of them reads, the gopis lament, my dear Krishna. Okay, we read this. So the gopis, their love is so intense that they don't want to spend a moment away from Krishna. You know, Mother Yasoda, when Krishna is going to graze the cows, so she packs his tiffin, okay? Radharani cooks, Dhanishta helps her, they pack the tiffin. Krishna's got his tiffin, he's got all the things he needs. He doesn't carry water bottle because they get fresh water from the waterfalls and springs that the land of Vrindavan gives, and Govardhan Hill. Mother Yasoda will say, Krishna, don't forget not your sunblock, but she'll say, Krishna, did you take this, and this? Every few steps Krishna takes, Mother Yasoda's anxiety is stopping him. Her love in anxiety stops him. Eventually, Krishna realizes, now, you know what? she has to leave me so that I could go and I can do my thing. And what's his thing? He has to go cow herding. So now he has to tell her at a certain point, Mother, I'm okay now. You can go back home. Mother Yasoda, then she laments. All the other people, all the other Vrajabasis, they can go and they can see Krishna, how he's grazing the cows, etc. But I can't. I'm not allowed to see Krishna in this form as a active cowherd. So she laments. So the love of his devotees is uniquely sweet. Then Krishna's flute, Venu Madhurya. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the gopis tell Mother Yasoda, when your son plays on the flute, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and Indra, although they are supposed to be the greatest learned scholars and personalities, all become bewildered. Although they are all very great personalities, by hearing the sound of Krishna's flute, they humbly bow down and become grave from studying the sound vibrated. So when Krishna plays on the fifth note of his flute, that fifth note is meant specifically for the gopis, the fifth note of the flute. So the fifth note gives a specific message to specific gopis. Meet me at the banks of the Yamuna at such and such time, etc., etc., etc. So Krishna has coded messages for each devotee by the flute he plays, the type of flute he plays, or the note on the flute that he blows. His musical excellence expressed through the melodies of his flute stimulates everyone to engage in his devotional service. So Krishna only gets his flute after the Damodar Leela. During the Damodar Leela, he doesn't have a flute. It's only after that that he gets music lessons and he gets a flute. So, Rupa Madhurya, he's uniquely, so much can be said about Krishna's flute. But we have a few minutes to finish off this last slide. Rupa Madhurya, in this world, that is Krishna's unique beauty. In this world, beautiful people use jewelry, clothing, and other ornaments to enhance their charm. Krishna, however, is Bhushan Bhushanangam. He beautifies his ornaments, not vice versa. Thus, Krishna is far more beautiful than anyone, even amongst all expansions and incarnations of Godhead. Krishna's beauty is supreme. So the earrings, the acharyas explain, you hear that Krishna wears these shark-shaped earrings. And Lasat Kundalam, in the first verse of Namam Ishwaram, the Damodar Astakam, what they say about his earrings, they're dancing on his cheeks. What does that mean? What is the phrase what does the sentence, his earrings are dancing on his cheeks mean? It means he's a big boy now. He runs. It means that now he's of the age where he can run. So his earrings, they shake. Otherwise, his earrings, they don't dance on his cheeks, so to speak. But now he's of the age where he can run. Lasat Kundalam, right? So the earrings. So Krishna's beauty, so the ornaments, they borrow the beauty from Krishna. The flowers, they come near Krishna's face. Why? So that his face can lend some beauty to their existence. It's not that the flowers or the ornaments beautify the body of Krishna, but it's vice versa. It's that the ornaments come to borrow beauty from Krishna. That's how naturally beautiful Krishna's body is. Even amongst all expansions and incarnations of Godhead, Krishna's beauty is supreme. That's why Lakshmi Devi, she came and she was performing so many years of penance to be part of the Ras Leela, to behold this beautiful form of Krishna. She's with Narayan all the time. But Narayan's beauty is different from Krishna's beauty. Krishna's sweet beauty attracts everyone, even Krishna himself. To taste the bliss of his devotional service, one day Krishna happened to see the shadow of his beautiful form reflected in the jeweled foreground. Upon seeing this beautiful reflection, Krishna expressed his feelings. How wonderful it is that I have never seen such a beautiful form. Although it is my own form, still, like Radharani, I'm trying to embrace this form and enjoy celestial bliss. So when Krishna sees on the effulgence of the floor or the river or the lake or the pillar, when he sees his form reflected, he thinks, who's this beautiful person? I haven't seen someone so beautiful before. And he like looks, he is captivated by by his own reflection. In the baby Krishna pastimes that are done in animation these days, Little Krishna, it's called. So that was overseen by devotees. So they were learned in the commentaries of different acharyas. There are like 27 commentators on the Srimad Bhagavatam. And so they were guiding these people. And at one point, when Krishna is so small and he goes to steal butter, I think it was the first time, and he sees his reflection there, he says, shh, to his reflection, don't tell anybody. And he promises to share the butter with that other person. He likes the person, he's making friends with the person, he's very attractive, but it's so sweet to behold that that is the nature of Krishna's unlimited beauty. And that brings us to the conclusion. Krishna's wonderful for today. Krishna's wonderful pastimes, devotees, flute playing, and the beauty make him supremely attractive. Thus, among all the expansions of Krishna, he is the supreme stimulus, Vaibhava Vishaya, for ecstatic love. That means because Krishna has all of these 64 qualities in their fullest, you can, if you become a devotee of Krishna, you can experience love to its fullest extent. Yeah? So you'll be fully satisfied in all respects if you make the endeavor to reconnect with Krishna. So that's such a beautiful thing because everybody else is actually thirsty for these attributes that Krishna has because nobody has it. No one comes close to him. So that's why he's the most attractive, all attractive personality. That's why we call him Krishna, means the all attractive one. So, this is one thing. You see the gopis in this picture, the artist has nicely depicted. In their separation from Krishna, what they speak about Krishna, and their love for Krishna comes out so clearly in this way. And Krishna, in his unmanifest form, he hides and he hears this. And he becomes so pleased to see how their love is so overwhelming and all encompassing, and thus it becomes purchased. So, what I had planned to do was to go through all of the 64 qualities, but I think we'll need a night of Lord Brahma, not just one of our ordinary nights, because the time is so short. So I don't know what to do. Maybe next week we'll touch on them briefly, few qualities briefly, and enhance our meditation on beautiful Krishna a little more. But for now, if there's any corrections, questions, or comments, we can take at this point. Nothing?
So Lord Ram, how many qualities does he have of the 64?
How many qualities does Lord Ram have, Prabhu?
Lord Ram has all the qualities.
But he only manifests.
He has all the qualities, but Krishna manifests them in fruits. Even there's a Prabhupada said even Lord Ram can play flute. See, even Lord Ram has childhood pastimes, but there are no pastimes
Yeah.
that can compare to
Repeat it. Sorry. Watch.
So the question is, how many qualities does Lord Ram possess of the 64? So remember, Vishnu possesses 60 and Krishna possesses 64. See me? And Sri Jiva Goswami says, Krishna, Lord Nrsingadev, and Lord Ramachandra, they are non-different. They're the full manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they're Swayam Bhagavan. So they all have the 64 qualities. And Prabhupada also describes Lord Ramachandra, he also has flute. And he also performs childhood pastimes. But they don't manifest all the 64 qualities like Krishna. So if you look at Lord Nishindev, even though he has all the qualities, but he doesn't manifest the qualities, there's no childhood pastimes. So even though he's the supreme, he's non-different from Krishna, he's the supreme personality of Godhead, so he has all the 64 qualities, but they're not manifested. Narayan has only up to 60 qualities. So they're short of the 4. But all the, Lord Ramachandra has the 4, but he does not manifest. And Krishna's, even when Lord Ramachandra has childhood pastimes, they're sweet, but not as sweet as Krishna. Because Krishna is naughty, very naughty.
Lord Ram is very
See?
well behaved.
Yeah. Yeah. So even as a child, as a child, he may, the naughtiness will be there, but not like Krishna. Krishna really, he excels in naughtiness.
He's the supreme personality of naughtiness. You
Yeah.
know what he does? No one can match him. Like, for example, when the gopis, they churn butter, okay? If their livelihood is to go, then they milk the cows. That's tedious, right? They milk so many cows. Like Maharaj Nanda, he's got how many cows? 900,000 cows. Can you imagine 900? 1,000 cows would be like hectic for us, right? 900,000. So these gopis, they milk the cows themselves. That's tedious. Then you get the milk. Now, obviously, the others have hair, so you got to strain the milk. So then you have to boil the milk. The strained milk now has to be boiled. So you may think, okay, what's the big deal? But you have to pick up those urns. It's tedious. So then they boil the milk. So when they boil the milk, then they have to make it into yogurt. So that takes time to make milk into yogurt, like we were doing when we were in Muldersdrift for the DDs. We only made yogurt. We didn't buy yogurt. So you put the culture into the boiled milk that's at a certain temperature. So you test the temperature by putting your finger in. You chant one Hare Krishna mantra, your finger doesn't burn, that's the time. That's the right time. So just at that point, you put the culture and you stir the culture in, you close it, it has to be at a certain room, has to be warm, and you leave it, but then morning you get thick yogurt, best thick yogurt. So when you get that thick yogurt, now you're going to have to churn that into butter. So when they carry all their wares on their head, they've worked really hard for this. And you know what Krishna does? He hides in the bushes after all of this. And they have 3 or 4 more pots on their heads, if you see the Brijvasi women, right? So they carry many pots upon pots on their heads and they balance it and they can argue while they have the pots on their head, etc. So they're quite expert at it. After all of these expertise, etc., Krishna hides in the bush with his sling and he shoots a stone at the pot from the back. Can you imagine carrying all of that? Of course, it's the perfection of the yogurt because the yogurt and their churning, everything's meant for the pleasure of Krishna. And if he wants to get pleasure in that way, so be it. No one can stop him. But his naughtiness can extend to ways we can't even conceive of with our minds. He's the supreme personality of naughtiness. Say anything else? Anybody had any thoughts to say? Say something, Rupa, about naughty Krishna. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada. Shri Nectar of Devotion ki jai. Go Premanandi. Hari Hari Bo. If you take the qualities of Krishna, it's so nice. For example, his gratitude, his ability to forgive. So Krishna's ability to forgive is like this: when he was Lord Ramachandra, when Sita Devi and him were in the forest, then Jayant was Indra's son.